This is Tammy Thompson-Cap, Director of Teaching and Learning for the School District of Baraboo. The purpose of this slide deck is to provide families with more information and insight into what both the in-person and virtual learning plans will look like as we look to reopen schools for the 2021 school year. As you are aware, our families have the choice of new normal or virtual for their student. In the new normal scenario, students would return to school in person, and in virtual, students would be participating in a fully virtual learning environment. The terms synchronous and asynchronous learning are often linked to virtual learning. Synchronous learning means that students would be learning at the same time as their peers. This is a more engaging and authentic way to interact with peers and also allows for instant feedback, clarification, and opportunity to ask questions. Asynchronous is the opposite of that. Students would be able to learn at different times, which may be more convenient and provide flexibility for students and families. It also allows students to work at their own pace and perhaps reference recorded lessons to use as part of their learning progression. At each of the various levels from pre-kindergarten through 12th grade, we have put together schedules to help families understand what each level would look like. At the pre-K level, virtual instruction would look something like this, where it would mirror what would happen in the regular half-day, 4-day-a-week program with a blend of both synchronous and asynchronous learning opportunities. At the elementary, middle, and high school levels, we've created both versions of a schedule, one for in-person instruction and the other for virtual. What you will notice in the elementary schedule is that we have put into place block scheduling, which will hopefully ensure that there is consistency and alignment with instruction, both within grade levels and across all of our elementary schools in the district. In addition, we are hoping that this will assist teachers in planning in a way that provides for an equitable distribution of workload. When we move to the virtual version of the elementary schedule, you will see that we've tried to break out the synchronous times of the day and then the times of day when we'll be synchronous and asynchronous, or even times when there will be independent learning happening for students. At the middle school level, we continue to have the block schedule in place. And then as we move to the virtual, same strategy where we are hoping to give some insight into when synchronous learning will be happening, as well as that blended approach as well. At the high school level, continued with block scheduling. And what you will notice in the virtual schedule is that there is an even greater reliance on the synchronous learning, because as classes get more specialized with content, we want our high school students to be able to have as much interaction with their peers and virtual teachers as possible so that they are able to continue working on their learning progression as well. We also wanted to include information specific to families who have English learners and advanced learners so that there is a sense of what you can expect for your children if they fall into either one of those categories, as well as students who have special education, individualized education plans, 504 plans, or students with medically complex needs. Please be assured that we are making sure that we are being responsive and inclusive to all of the needs that different students may have. We've also tried to outline for families a sense of what the time commitment is. This slide really speaks to the amount of time per day that you can expect, and this would be that blend of synchronous and asynchronous learning. It is an approximate outline as we are trying to have as much consistency as possible for students who are participating either in person or virtually. And then we've also tried to provide an outline of how much time will be spent specifically on synchronous learning and conversely on asynchronous learning. We do know that there will be likely challenges that may arise that would prevent a student from being able to access synchronous learning. And we are committed to problem solving with families to ensure that the equitable access and engagement continues to be in place for all students. The teaching and learning platforms that we will be using are Seesaw and Google Classroom at the 4K through 5th grade level, and 6th through 12th grade will also be using Google Classroom, with some courses being available through Wisconsin eSchool Network. Attendance grading and supplies are topics that have had a number of questions arise. We want families to understand that participation and attendance is expected, while we will be flexible with individual circumstances that come up. What will be super important is the communication between the teacher and the student and family to ensure that engagement is occurring. Under the category of grading, teachers will be assessing students to meaningfully inform instruction and keep them on track toward end of grade level benchmarks. Feedback will be ongoing and frequent, and teachers will be providing grading for learning. Supplies is an area that we want to be sure, particularly for our families who are learning virtually, that they have what they need to be successful with their learning at home. Chromebooks are available for all students grades 2 through 12, and iPads will be available for students in grades 4K through 1st grade. There will be weekly access for families to pick up materials that they may need for virtual instruction, and the district is also preparing art and music kits for students to use at home who are choosing the virtual option. We also hope to have approval from our Board of Education next week to implement an at-home and virtual learning coach. This person would specifically be working on supporting virtual learning and being an advocate for families and helping to problem solve any needs that may arise. This person would also then be making sure that there is as much alignment between the in-person and virtual learning environments as well. For more information on our return to school plan for the 2020-21 school year, please visit our website by clicking on the Return to School under the Academics tab on the website's homepage. Here you will find more information on health and safety, transportation, our new normal, and virtual learning models, as well as information about special education, students with 504s, and students with medically complex needs. Also located on our website is the Sauk County Public Health School COVID-19 protocol and information on the school's protocol for students or staff who are experiencing symptoms of or have had exposure to someone with COVID-19. Please know that we continue to be fully committed to making sure that the learning experience of all students is as successful as it can be in the 2021 school year. We appreciate your patience and grace as we continue to proactively work through this process.